Alright everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. I am Blue Monkey, and today I want to talk about why I think the combat in Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga is going to be much better and much more in-depth than the previous game. Now, as we know, there hasn't been much in the way of new information about this game, and the bits and pieces that I'm about to share from these video diaries, they do not directly confirm a complete combat overhaul, but rather hint at a much deeper and much more involved combat experience. Now, I will link the two video diaries that we're about to take a look at down below. They are both from Melina Juergen's official YouTube page. If you don't know, Melina Juergens is the actress that plays Senua, so just make sure to take this just with a grain of salt. Like I said, these are not direct confirmations of a combat overhaul, but you'll see by the things that I've got lined up for you guys today that it is quite obvious that they are planning something big as far as the combat goes in this game. Guys, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Before we do, I just want to remind you that leaving me a like on the video helps the channel out a ton. And if you want to see more Hellblade 2 updates in the future, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm also covering Elden Ring. I'm also going to be covering Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So if those are games that you're interested in, subbing might not be a bad option for you. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so this first one's about a 45-second clip.
So the news is out, there will be a sequel to Hellblade called Senua Saga. And for those of you who didn't recognize me in the trailer, I will be playing Senua again. I'm not sure why they didn't recognize me. We've been keeping pretty quiet over the last couple of years because we wanted to announce the game in a really cool way with a really badass trailer. And I think that worked out pretty well.
Oh my!
But during this quiet time, a lot of big things have actually been going on in the background. You might have noticed that I've been posting a lot of workout videos on my Instagram, which is not because I'm really into sports, but because I'm getting ready for Senua Saga. Anyway.
Okay, so just a couple things. First of all, this is just a confirmation that no news is not necessarily bad news. Like she said, during this quiet time, a lot of big things have been going on in the background, and that is exactly what we saw just now. Even just judging by that one brief little clip of that combat training sequence. And you can tell that she's taking it pretty damn seriously, and apparently the developers are too. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about next, is the combat training that Melina here went through to take on the role of Senua in the second game. But the animators actually went through some combat training as well, so we're going to jump over to another video real quick. Okay, here we are. So yeah, Melina Juergens, she not only did combat training with a professional MMA fighter, but she also did weapons training with a very well-renowned combat choreographer, famous for his work in the Star Wars series as well as in Game of Thrones. His name is C.C. Smith. We're gonna go ahead and get into that in just a second. Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip.
As he's a professional fighter, I also asked him if he could teach me some MMA and self-defense moves, not just to get fit, but also because I thought that once we start to explore a fighting style for Senua, maybe we could connect some of these moves with Senua's weapons.
Right there. Once we start to explore a fighting style, maybe we could incorporate some of these moves into Senua's weapons. Two things. First of all, what do you mean once we start to explore fighting style? Because Senua already has a fighting style, or it did in the first game. So that's the first thing that's telling me that they're going to be doing a complete combat overhaul, or at least some major changes to the way Senua fights. But not only that, she doesn't say to incorporate these moves with her weapon. She says weapons, multiple, plural. Now, maybe she's just saying that, you know, this is just her own personal video diary. To me, that hints at multiple weapons, and there's actually going to be more that I'm about to reveal to you guys that does hint at multiple weapons. Let's go ahead and keep this clip pushing.
In the meantime, we also started shooting some sword fighting motion capture, but it became clear very quickly that fighting Bob had its limitations, and I really needed some proper opponents who actually fight back. So I started showing some of our animators at the office some of the skills that I had learned in that combat course, and that actually gave Tamim, our director, a great idea, which was to send all of our animators to the same course so that they could then be stand-in enemy characters for Senua. While I was waiting for all of the animators to complete the combat courses.
Okay. It doesn't say in as much detail in this video diary, but in another video diary, the developers themselves actually said that it's a good idea. Let's go ahead and train these animators as well. That way, when they're doing motion capture, they can literally suit up the animators and do motion capture for the enemies' combat animations. So it's looking like not only is the combat system going to be deeper, possibly multiple weapons, possibly a complete overhaul, but also the realism as far as the way that Senua interacts with her enemies and the way that those enemies interact with Senua.
While I was waiting for all of the animators to complete the combat courses, I really needed to find someone who could push my sword fighting skills much further. So Dom went back online and started doing some research, and he came across the award-winning sword master and stunt choreographer called 2's Smith. He's known for his work on Star Wars and Game of Thrones. We invited him over to the office to have a chat with him, and I was really excited to meet him, but at the same time I was super nervous because I knew that once we start our one-on-one training, it would mean the beginning of a really long and difficult journey.
Okay, we're gonna cut out her adorable ramblings for a second and just get to the point. 2's Smith. I have not heard of him before this, but just given his credentials, look, the developers are not messing around this time around. The freaking animators are doing stunt training. Melina Juergens is doing stunt and weapons training. And not only that, they are doing motion capture for the enemy combat animations. And the motherfucking dude who was working on Game of Thrones and Star Wars is literally coming in to help them. They are not messing around with this game. Now, I think it's going to be a lot longer just based off of how seriously they're taking this. I think it's going to be a lot longer than we expect for a release date because I think they really want to make something special. I really think they want to make a game of the year. You know what I mean? But I'm going to fast forward actually a little bit because there's a little clip that I wanted to show you later on in the video too. Okay, so just here's a little clip of her trading with 2's Smith. Just pay attention to, number one, how seriously they're taking it. And number two, I'll actually go ahead and pause it in a second to show you what I'm talking about. One sword. And now she has a sword as well as an offhand weapon. And this isn't just there for her to balance. Watch, yeah, see. See how she incorporates it into the moves that she's learning. The developer said basically to her, if you can't do it, we're not going to put it in the game. So she's training hard. But this tells me, given that she is doing it, that there will be multiple weapons, the possibility of dual wielding, the possibility of main hand and offhand combinations of weapons. This is a behind the scenes look at what they're creating, and to me it has got me very excited. But guys, I don't want to drag this video on and make it any longer than it has to be. Just go ahead and let me know down below, number one, what do you think is going on here? How deep do you think this combat system is actually going to be? And number two, are you excited or not? Guys, appreciate you sticking around to the end. Thank you so much. Again, if you want to see more updates just like this, be sure to subscribe. And until then, you can check out these videos to the right. And guys, that's all I got for you. I'm Blue Monkey, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.